Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? It is 3:53 a.m. on this Thursday night going into Friday. It's a weird night outside. It's 36 degrees and it's kind of misting rain, but it feels like spring outside. It feels a lot warmer than 36. And it actually has felt a lot warmer all day today. I just got up about 20 minutes ago. Look at my hairdo. My hair is darling Jolene Joe decided to, here she is right here. She decided to show up and make an appearance tonight because she likes to kick. She's over here kicking. And yeah, I had the most bizarre nightmares tonight. I mean, like, terrifying nightmares. I'm kind of starting to think that, like, if I eat right before I've said this a lot on this channel, but that if I eat right before I fall asleep, that's when I have, like, the worst nightmares. I think that because, did you ever watch the movie or read the book A Christmas Carol when why can't I think of his name? Ebenezer Scrooge blames Marley on, like, a bit of unsettled food or something that he ate. I think that's why I have that idea. But it's always when I, like, eat right before I go to sleep that I have these horrible nightmares. I actually bought this spray from the Meijer when Tanya and I were there like a month ago, and it's like this lavender spray that you spray on your pillow, and it's supposed to help you fall asleep quicker. And I mean to tell you, like, I put that on my pillow and I am out like that. I fall asleep really, really quick with it. And we went out to dinner tonight. When Alex was on his way home, he had some late meetings tonight, and when he was on his way home, he was like, do you want to go out to dinner? And I was like, yeah, sure, wherever you want to go. And so he came home, and then we went to Cheesecake Factory, and I had the Impossible Burger and fries, and Alex had a cheeseburger and fries, and he had a glass of wine, and I had a Mr. Pibb or a Dr. Pepper, whichever they have there, and bread. And then we came home, and we both, like, got in bed, and he was, like, playing his game and stuff, and I was, like, laying there talking to him and talking to the dogs, and I turned my light out on my side, and I mean, I was out, like, well, I guess they were kind of, and he was playing his game and we were talking, and then he turned his light out after I turned my light out, and then I was gone. I, like, fell asleep. And I woke up at, like, 1 o'clock, and that was when I was having these really, really bad nightmares. And I was like, okay, I need to go vlog. But in all honesty, like, this is gonna sound crazy, they were so horrible that I was kind of scared to, like, walk downstairs and go outside. I mean, I wasn't scared, like, I didn't think anything was gonna happen to me, but, like, right when I first woke up, like, I was really, really scared. And again, they took place in the house that I grew up in. And again, well, this time Boo Radley and Tucker were both in the dream. And I kind of think Pee-Pee might have been there too, but I'm not sure. But it was, my mom was there, and often in my dreams, like when I was growing up, I've told this before, that I had a reoccurring nightmare when I was growing up, and my mom, and I think it had a lot to do with my mom's drinking. And in the nightmare, my mom was kind of like zombie-ish, like she was kind of out of it. And I had that dream until my mom got sober. And it was always me trying to get my mom and I out of the house, but, like, I would only get out of the house. And then, like, I would go to the neighbors across the street, and I would watch, like, I could see her getting, like, hurt or killed, like, from across the street. And I had that nightmare until my mom got sober. And then, like, I stopped having the nightmare. Like, I never had it again. This was different. It was winter time. It was snowing a lot outside. And we were like in the kitchen talking, and she was like pulling stuff out of the refrigerator, and the dogs were like running around on the floor. And I knew like, I knew that like somebody was trying to get us. Oh, this is what happened. So I had like taken the dogs outside, and this guy was like walking down the street at like 4 o'clock in the morning. I had taken the dogs outside, and they were like running around right by like we had this like brick courtyard when I was growing up, and I saw these 3 people, and they were like at like 3 or 4 houses down. I could see them like on the front doorstep, and they were like, in my mind's eye, like I knew that they were like dressed like those people in that movie, The Strangers, and they were doing like a drum circle. There was something about like a drum circle. They had like these drums that they were carrying with them. And so, and I knew it was like these 3 girls, like for some reason, like there was like, I knew in like my dream that there were like these 3 girls that were going around with like a drum circle, and they were like trying to like kill people. Like I knew that in my dream. And it had been like on the news or something. I said something to my mom about that. And so like, I didn't think they saw me, and I like slipped inside, and I like turned off all the lights so that they wouldn't see that we were there. And I was telling my mom, I was like, come on, Mom, we've got to go upstairs. And we had like gotten like stuff to protect ourselves, and we were going to go upstairs, and we were going to lock ourselves in her bedroom until like it was morning and it was safe. And I said something to my mom about the mud room. So when I was growing up, we had this like the garage, and the garage had like the door, the sliding, you know, the garage door that went up, the sliding door, the garage door that went up and down. But then there was also like this side door next to it, and where she, you know, like she would let the dog out and put him on this like long leash and stuff like that when I was growing up. And then you could get in and out of the garage through this like side door, if that makes sense. And it was like this double bolted heavy door. But then from the garage, there was like a door into the mud room. And then from the mud room into the main part of the house, there was like a wood door that was double bolted. So you could get into the main part of the house through the, I mean, it was part of the main part of the house, but there was also like a double bolted door. So like if somebody got in from the garage into that room, like, and we would bolt that door at night before we went to bed, like it was locked, you couldn't get in there. And but it was like a wood door, just like you would see like, you know, as in any other room in the house. And it was like these linoleum floors, and so you could see light underneath it, and you could see like around the door. Does that make sense? I don't know how to explain it, but you could kind of like see, if somebody was in there, you could see them like moving around or whatever. And I looked down, and I could see people in there, and I said to my mom, I said, they already got in the house. And she was like, what are you talking about? And I said, go upstairs with the dogs, Mom. They already got in the house. And I said, I don't know how they got in here, but they already got in the house. And she was like, are you sure? And I was like, yes, go upstairs, make sure the front door's locked, and then go upstairs. And it was kind of like a mix between like it felt like The Purge and that movie Strangers in my nightmare. And I had like this big butcher knife, which was actually like this butcher knife that my mom had when I was growing up as a kid. We had like one of those wood block, you know, things with like knives in them. I wonder what happened to that, because she didn't have it at the condo ever. I wonder if she threw that out, because she always just kept the knives like in this drawer. So anyway, yeah, I wonder what happened to that. It was like this wood block thing that, you know, you put like knives in. Anyway, so I had it in my hand, and I went down to the door, and I was like standing there, and I was like, hello? And nobody said anything. And then I was like, hello? And I could see this girl look through, and she like was crazy. Like I could tell that she had like, it was like she had been infected by something, like, so, you know those movies where like people are like infected and they're like not zombies, but they're like, you know, they're like, ah. And she was looking at me through the crack in the door, and I took this butcher knife, and I was like, like that, and like jammed it into like her head, and the other girl like pulled her off, and then she was like looking at it, and I was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, and then I like ran upstairs, and I said, come on, Mom, and like we ran upstairs into her bedroom, which my mom's bedroom had a double bolted lock on it too. I think it's funny that my mom's her bedroom door had a double bolted lock. My bedroom was the only one that didn't in the whole house, it sounds like. But anyway, and we like ran in there and we locked ourselves in there, and then I woke up. And I think I was like looking out the window when I woke up, and I was like scared. Like I lay there in bed for a second and I was like really scared. And here, I brought this water with me, my just bottle of water. This is my pure filtered water from our refrigerator. It's a little warm because it's been there all day long. And then I brought this, AHA. I'm trying to get through it. I was telling Alex tonight, I said, I don't love it. And Sarah suggested I buy it. And he goes, and you should sell it to her. I'm not going to sell it to her. I'll just give her the can. But I said, I only have a couple left. I have 3 of them left, so I'm just trying to use them until they're done. So anyway, that was nightmare number 1. And then like I got up and I went to the restroom and I came back and I was like, okay, I'm just going to go to sleep for a little bit longer and then maybe I'll wake up. And I had another nightmare, but I don't remember that one. But anyway, those were my nightmares. It's so weird that they always occur like in the house that I grew up in. Got up today, did a bunch of stuff around the house, and then I had a hair appointment at 2:30, went to that, and then afterwards I got my coffee, and I did a review video at Starbucks, and then I came home. Thursday nights are Alex's late night, but he even was later than that because he had like this training thing that he was doing tonight. And where is I was like all day today I was looking for this Sol de Janeiro lip balm and I could not find it. And I was like, if I've lost that already, I'm gonna be really upset. Nope, here it is. So I just bought it. And then, let's see, I did a drama video, and then I did a video for my Peter Does Stuff channel where I like went through old pictures, and a lot of people in the video are saying they can't see the pictures. I should have just taken screenshots of the pictures and shown them. I wish I had. Because you people can't really see the pictures. I will next time. I was kind of like, it was getting late in the day, and I was like, this is going to take a long time for me to do all this if I try to scan the pictures or take pictures of each one and like crop it and edit it, you know? So I was like, I just really wanted to get some of the videos out and get them up. But next time I'll take closer pictures of them. And then, what else did I do? I filmed a Peterisms video, but it didn't like, the meditation wasn't that great and it kind of fell short, and I just decided not to put it up. I just was like, I don't really like this. That is like a whole, you guys, this is like a whole yard full of like deer. I don't know if you'll be able to see them or not. Can you see them right there? Hey guys. There's like 3 right there. You can't probably see them, can you? Hi. Oh my gosh, there's like 4 more back there. There they go. Your friends are going. Isn't that crazy? Tonight when we were on our way home from dinner, it's so nice out tonight. Right when we got to our house, like we were coming around the corner, and I said, Alex, there's a coyote running into the woods. He was like, how did you see that? I can spot animals like crazy. And it was like a big coyote. It was like probably this, like half the size of like a golden retriever. And I was like, don't take the dogs out back. If you take them out front. And he was like, yeah. So that was my day. I felt really productive today. I got a lot of stuff done. And let's see what else. Oh my God, I know what I did. Okay, yesterday, you guys, so I finished yesterday Swamp Santa. Look at that neon green Jeep Wrangler, that's kind of cool. I finished Swamp Santa by Janet DeLeon. I think it's the 16th book, 16, 17, 18, yeah, it's the 16th book in the series. I cannot believe I have read, Peter, who didn't used to like series, have read 16 books in a book series. I talked to Mel tonight from my book club partner, and I was like, can you believe I've read 16 books in a series? And she's like, I think it's hilarious. She's like, I love it. And we were trying to decide what book we want to read for February, and the live stream for the Casey Anthony book is on Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we were also talking about when we're going to do the Devil's Knot live stream, and we're going to have to probably put that off to like the first or second week of February, just because we don't want them to be so close together. And then we'll eventually catch up like in March or April. I think this kind of happened, maybe not last year, but the year before, because I was out of town a lot that year. Yeah, that was the year. And so we had to kind of like put off like the schedule for the live book club. And Mel has been working so much. Mel is so interesting and very cool, like her attitude to her. She loves her job, and she gets promotions all the time. I'm so proud of her. And she's like somebody like, you know, like when you talk to people and they're like, ugh, I hate my job, like I have to work so much, blah, 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 whatever. She is so not that. Like, she is so, just somebody that is so excited about her job and learning new things and whatever. I just like, I love that about her. I love how passionate she is about her job. And like whenever they're like, we need somebody to work on a Saturday, she always volunteers and stuff like that. And so that's why we've had to like put it off quite a bit, is because of her picking up some different days and stuff like that, which is totally fine, you know. I mean, the book club is for fun, and I love to be able to support her and anything like that anyway, you know. So anyway, it is raining over here. But anyway, we talked for a little bit today. We do not have the February book picked out yet. And January's book is The Devil's Knot, which is about the West Memphis 3. So yesterday I finished a Janet DeLeon book, and I wanted to start something new because I've been buying books like crazy on Audible, right? And I was like, oh, I want to start one of these, because I had bought like 4 young adult mysteries. I actually had probably in the last 2 months, I probably bought like 10 young adult mysteries, because I bought the new Courtney Summers book doesn't come out until this end of this month, I think. Her book Sadie was like one of the first books I read last year, I think, or the year before. Oh, it was so good. And who's the new Karen McManus has a new book out called Cousins. She's the one that wrote One of Us is Lying. And then there's a sequel to it, which I haven't read yet. And I have a couple Riley Sager books I haven't read yet of his, and his are very kind of like 90s kind of horror movie thrillers, like young adult thrillers. Stephanie Perkins actually has another thriller coming out. Her last one I really, really liked. People like it, got bad reviews, but I thought it was good. It's coming out next, I think like in October. I really like her as a writer, honestly. didn't know anything about her a couple years ago, and then she put the anthology out. If you've never, I'm not a big short story person, like as far as reading them, and definitely not anthologies, but she wrote one that was about like holiday season, and it was called My True Love Gave to Me. And then the follow-up one was like 6 months later, and it was like summer, and I can never remember what it was called. The covers of both of them are absolutely beautiful, and it was like, both of them are with like Rainbow Rowell and Nina LaCour, and is that her name? Nina LaCour? It's some phenomenal writing, you guys, just absolutely phenomenal writing, and so you should check out those anthologies. But anyway, so yesterday, because I wasn't going to film anything because I was sitting, like, to sit in front of the ring light was going to hurt my eye. By the way, my eyes are like 100% better. I put my contacts in today, if you can see. They weren't even really red when I woke up this morning. This one was a little bit red still, but like it didn't hurt at all. So I put my contacts in. Yes, I am going to take my contacts out tonight when I get home. I think I've learned my lesson now, hopefully. And at least for a while. No, I hope I have. I think I have. You can go to Cirilla's right now. Don't miss out. 3 DVDs, only $10. What was I going to say? I only know that because I just passed it by. I actually, when I vlog, there's 2 Cirilla's that I pass. There's one here, and then there's one way down here. I was like, I don't know if I've ever been in a Cirilla's before, but I have been in a Cirilla's before. I went to this one down here. I went with somebody. We were buying like a gift for like a bachelorette party or something. I can't remember. God, it would have been a long time ago. But anyway, I started yesterday the book Imperfect Justice, which is, I probably talked about this in my vlog last night, the Casey, oh, I did, because people were commenting on it, the Casey Anthony book, because I read through all the comments today. And then last night when I got done vlogging, I finished the Casey Anthony book. I mean, I stayed up super late last night, you guys, and I finished the Casey Anthony book in one day. I didn't think it was the greatest true crime book I've ever read, but I did think it was pretty interesting. It was, some people said that it was too factual. I can't remember who wrote the comment, but somebody compared it to the John Wayne Gacy book, Killer Clown. But they said that the John Wayne Gacy book was more interesting. I know what they meant, because the John Wayne Gacy book was, they were similar in that it talked about the John Wayne Gacy book really talked about the leading up to the arrest of John Wayne Gacy, whereas the Casey Anthony book was really about the court case of Casey Anthony. But I understand the comparison, because in the John Wayne Gacy book, it was like the district attorney, or I can't remember who wrote the book, but he was somebody that was like on that side of the law. And but he talked a lot about how it affected the other officers and how it affected him and his personal life. And there was like more to it than that, especially at the end of the book. He talked a lot at the end of the book about how much it impacted him. Look at the sky, how pretty it was there for a second. It was real purple. Whereas, and I even said this to Mel today on the phone, like, I didn't feel like this book really humanized Kaylee Anthony, the Casey Anthony's daughter. I feel at the end, like, he made one comment. I will say this, I did like him as a writer-narrator. I thought he knew his stuff. I thought, like, his kind of getting frustrated with, like, the defense attorney, well, not frustrated, but pissed at the defense attorney, was interesting to read, because you don't really typically ever read that in a book. Like, he really did not care to say what he had to say. And I think it also played into understanding why Casey Anthony, like, got off from the trial. There was somebody on the comment section that said, so, are you telling me that you don't think Casey, or did you, so you don't think Casey Anthony did it? I don't know what I said last night that would have given anybody that impression. Probably by last night when I vlogged, I didn't know much about the case going into this, honestly. What I did know about this case was that Casey Anthony had allegedly killed a daughter and that she had gotten off. Like, that's what I knew about the case, was that she had been, you know, what is it called, acquitted. She had gotten off. I didn't know really anything more about it than that. So I went into it reading it as if Casey Anthony did it. I don't honestly know to be completely, like, I was really asking myself this question a lot last night. Like, if I was sitting on the jury, and you talk about, because he does talk about this at the end of the book, he talks about the idea of beyond a reasonable doubt being like a personal feeling. You know, like, I was asking myself, like, beyond a reasonable doubt, could I say that she killed her daughter? I mean, the whole case is built on circumstantial evidence, okay? When you look at it, it's like, do you guys know what she's doing now? First of all, she's a private investigator. Can we just talk about that for a second? I think the thing that got me the most was her just unbelievable lies. And if you read the book versus just know the case, this guy's really passing me on this double road here right now, and I'm going the speed limit. You guys must think I'm the slowest driver in the world. I was telling someone that the other day. They're like, something about my vlog, and I said, yeah, I think people probably think I'm like the slowest driver in the world because I'm always complaining about people passing me, but like, I'm going the speed limit, and this pickup truck's passing me on a double, you know, lane road, or double whatever. But if you read the book versus just follow the case, because actually last night when I got done, I got home and I couldn't fall asleep. It was like in my head. Do I think that she did it? I'm just going to answer that question straight out. From an opinion point of view, from reading the book, yes, I do. I think she either did it or she knows who did it. I will tell you the afterthought of what's weird to me, because I watched some videos about it. So when you read the book, it goes into a lot more, like the fact that, and I don't know, maybe it came up more in the case, and that he didn't talk a lot about it in the book, but the fact that she said that she dropped her daughter off with this nanny, and not just that she dropped her daughter off with this nanny that God knows where this nanny is at now, but that she had Zanny the nanny, which was interesting because then I watched this Chris Hansen interview, and he was like, and maybe this is like a common idea, I didn't know that, he was like, do you think that Zanny the, what is rattling over here? Do you think that Zanny the nanny could have been Xanax? And the mother to this day is like, no, she was like, I don't think she really had anything to do with it. And her husband's like convinced that Casey had something to do with Kaylee's death. Like, he wants no relationship. Well, I can understand after the court case. This is my bag. He said that her attorney, so they were going to blame it on the father because he was her father and he needed to fall on the sword for her, is what the attorney told the dad. And he's like, no, that's not going to happen. I don't know. The case is, but do I think that she had something to do with it, or she knows it, what happened? Yes, I do. The whole thing is just, I don't know, I almost kind of like lean towards thinking like, well, okay, until I watch this Marsha Clark thing. So, but when you read the book, like, the lies are just so unbelievable. Like, she literally led these police officers around like Universal Studios or whatever, and then was like, oh, I don't work here. Like, what? Like, I can't. Like, you took police officers, like, that are doing an investigation on your missing daughter around this place that you said you worked, and then you're like, yeah, I don't work here. I haven't worked here in 2 years. What is that? But then they went into this whole thing, like, in the court case, that her anxiety and stress could have, from having, like, lost her daughter for 31 days. Okay, first of all, let me just say this before there's any discussion. I have read so many kidnapping books. I have watched so many documentaries about this stuff. I have watched so many shows about this stuff. First of all, I have never heard of a parent, grandparent, aunt, uncle, anybody, caretaker, okay, have their child be missing in less than 24 hours. I was going off on kind of a little bit of a rant there and it stopped. Anyway, what I was saying was, you know, I have watched documentaries, read books, watched TV shows of this stuff, of kidnappings and killings, of this kind of stuff for years and years and years, okay? I have never heard of a parent, caretaker, grandparent, whatever, okay, or aunt, uncle, grandparent, caretaker, their child being missing longer than 31 or longer than 24 hours or less than even usually, and they're not calling the police wanting to file a missing persons report, okay? Even if they're like in high school and it was a runaway. So the fact that she went 31 days without reporting anything, and she said, oh, I was looking on my own. What? Like, seriously? Like, and at that time, you're also gallivanting all over Florida, you know? And like, and this is the thing. It's like the prosecution, when you read the book, like, he really was like, we built up this great case and all this kind of stuff. But like, they literally go by and they like explain, like, he goes in the book and he explains bit by bit of what they did in the trial. And I'm like, okay, she said they were at this amusement park with this guy that wanted to have a long-term relationship with her. Then it comes out that they haven't... What was that noise? That scared me. That he hadn't even seen her since middle school. Okay, number one. Number two, I don't remember any... They're doing all this stuff in the trial because they're trying to prove circumstantial evidence, right? So they're doing all this stuff in the trial about the duct tape, because apparently Kaylee was duct taped, okay? Duct tape and the trash, the smell of the trash, and all this kind of stuff, right? Well, I don't think that was what the jury needed to be convinced on. I think if the jury saw, like, what a liar, and maybe they did show this in the trial, I don't know, but, like, she literally created this nanny, okay? You guys, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself as I'm listening to this, I'm not just talking about, like, the night that she went disappearing or wherever. What about for the 2 years previous to that she said she was with Zanny the nanny? Where was she all those nights? Had she just, like, put her in a room somewhere and nobody knew where she was, and she supposedly was with the nanny? Was she in the back of the car then? You know? I mean, like, it's just crazy to me. And that's where there was a part that I was listening to the book that he speculated something to the effect of that he thought, or somebody thought, Casey was worried that Kaylee was getting to an age where she would start talking. And she would say things like there was no nanny or whatever. Well, I mean, who knows where she was all these times? This poor little girl, you know? I don't know. So, anyway. I didn't think that they did like a botched prosecution. I thought they had a lot of stuff lined up. But then, like, child abuse was one of the things on there, and it's like, neglect, to me, first of all, this is where I was confused, okay, watching the case. Not filing a missing persons report, I mean, this is almost definition of child neglect, okay? Not filing a missing persons report on your child having been missing for 31 days, standing there and saying to the police that your child had been missing for 31 days, the last time you dropped, I mean, she never even got honest about where Kaylee was. She never said where she took Kaylee, or, I mean, they just were like, oh, they took her to a nanny. And then, you guys, I got so ate up with this case last night. It just was, like, too much for me to listen to. And then they were like, oh, she took her to this nanny that doesn't really exist, which was so crazy because in the trial, I watched... Did I see this in a video or did I read this in an article? I think maybe I read it in an article. I looked it up last night. Apparently the attorney in the trial, her attorney said that she made up Zanny the nanny, okay? But then, And she let him sit there and say that in the trial. But then she came out, like, years later in an interview and said, no, that Zanny the nanny was, like, a real person. She really did exist. Well, where is she? Why didn't anybody find her and put her on trial? You know what I mean? And so, and then she comes out with this, what did they call it in the book? Oh, it was interesting that they called it this, because we had read some other book in the book club where they called it this too. It's where they have to come up with some other idea of what happened. Oh shoot, what is it called? I know there's somebody shouting it at the screen right now. It's probably Karen. Hey Karen, how are you? What was it called? Shoot, in the book. But that's where she came up with the whole thing where she, like, targeted her dad with it and said that he had drowned her, which nobody had said anything about. And then they really didn't pay that much attention to that in the book, because she had there wouldn't be duct tape on her if she had drowned. There would be no reason to put duct tape on her. Okay, what was interesting was after I finished the book, I started watching all these videos. One of which was Aphrodite, because Ant's a good friend of mine. Aphrodite's, and I don't think that was one that I had watched before, his reading of the Casey Anthony case and what happened. And he basically said that there was no new information, that it wasn't going to be anything that surprised anybody. You guys, I've had Ant do so many personal readings on me, like on the phone, and I just need to tell you, like, every single time he is, like, spot on, and I don't even tell him stuff, and he's, like, spot on about stuff. But what was interesting in there was that he said, you speculate, I'm just going to tell you what Ant says, and you speculate however you want to speculate. That it was weird because he almost saw it as a revenge kind of thing. So you did this to me, here I'm going to do this to you kind of deal. And it was interesting, like, having just listened to the book, and then he said that. Then I went and I watched the parents on the Chris Hansen interview. They were apparently on Chris Hansen, or he interviewed them, and then also Dr. Phil. I couldn't find the doctor. I could find segments of it, like 1-minute clips, but I couldn't find the whole thing. The Chris Hansen interview, I watched the whole thing. It was funny because Mel had said something about the mom tonight, and I was like, she came across as really nice, actually, in the interview. And Mel was like, yeah, she's kind of like her, like, out there. Now, I will tell you this about the mom. The mom doesn't believe that Casey had anything to do with it. Like, in the interview, and the interview was actually, like, not right after the court case, she said something like, Chris Hansen asks the dad, like, do you think she had something to do with it? And he said yes. He was like, she either had something to do with it or she knows who did it. And the mom turns to him and she's like, do you really? And I'm like, you guys haven't had this conversation a million times. They have no relationship with her today except for that. The mom had to be hospitalized. She called her about that. And then they have, like, salted the roads. I wonder if we're supposed to get snow or something today. It's not cold enough to get snow. But anyway, here, I'm going to let this car pass me. Here's yet another car that wants to pass me by. And then she had seen her right before Christmas. Or maybe they don't. I don't know. And then she had seen him right before, she had seen her mom right before Christmas. And the mom said she wanted to hug her and smack her at the same time. So, I don't know. The mom seems really in denial to me. How you can look at this case, out of all, the lying is what is, like, the big deal, right? And the fact that it's like, oh, this is what I was going to say. I have never, in watching cases like this, and reading cases and reading stories, watching movies and documentaries, I have never, ever heard of anxiety and stress causing somebody to lie on this level. And they're like, oh, well, she thought she worked at Universal Studios. What? You're so stressed out because your daughter has been missing for 31 days and you didn't report it to the police, and that stressed you out to the point that you thought you worked at Universal Studios? I don't even understand that as an excuse. I really don't. So then I watched this thing with Marcia Clark. I think it came out in 2018. I think I checked the date on it because I wanted to see if the show was still on. Where Marcia Clark had a show on A&E. I don't know if she still does or not. Marcia Clark from the O.J. Simpson trial. And where she would go into court cases and she would, and many of them hadn't even been, like, charges hadn't even been filed, but like high profile cases, and then she would go in and kind of like evaluate the case, and it was like this TV show where like every segment was like a different one, and one of them she was doing was Casey Anthony. Well, two things that she shared, this was just like a clip, like an interview, she was on like some TV segment talking about the show. What was interesting, as I was watching it, I was like, she really knows how to sell a show, because the interview was more about like her talking about like her show than it was about the Casey Anthony part. But the clip says something like Marcia Clark talks about undiscovered evidence in the Casey Anthony file. What was interesting was they did a further search. Okay, this was not in the book, and this was not in the court documents, she said. But the defense attorney did a further search. This is shady, by the way. This came out in some book, she said. He wrote a book. The defense attorney wrote a book. This Baez guy. And when there's like all of this discussion in the case about these computer searches where they look up chloroform, okay? Well, the defense attorney knew this. This is where I feel like the prosecution kind of messed up sometimes, because they didn't have like the full pieces of evidence, because this would have been in the findings if they had gone through it. It would have had to have been if it was in their computer findings, or they could have had a computer tech go through and look on their own, right? They found that one of the words in one of the sites that they looked up, and it wasn't the dad, because they found that there was like a glitch in the programming or something, so it was actually an hour ahead of time, which really plays into the whole thing. If you think about the court case, Marcia didn't even talk about this in her thing, because a bunch of the court case was the timing of who could have possibly been home when they were looking up chloroform. Apparently they looked up chloroform like 84 times in the computer, and the mom said she had looked it up and all this kind of stuff, but then apparently it wasn't really 84 times, because it was just like 84 times to this MySpace page or something. I don't know. But anyway, but what Marcia Clark said that it never came to court was that somebody had searched, oh shoot. God, I was just telling Mel this on the phone and now I can't remember what the words were. Surefire suffocation, something like that, surefire suffocation, and or like, you know, like, and in the article it said, it referenced duct tape from ear to ear that would cover the hair, and that's how Casey Anthony was found. So, and then there was also like something about now they had some kind of there was something else. There was two pieces of evidence. I'll have to go back and watch it. It's literally 5 minutes long before the book club, because I sat there and watched it. I was like, well, if you're watching this, then sure, there's no way Casey Anthony didn't do it, you know? And that had come out after the case was closed. But then it was interesting because they asked her, like, what did she think about the miscarriage of justice or whatever, which is interesting that he called his book Imperfect Justice. And she said, you know, she was like, I think she said like 90% of the time juries get it right. And she was like, you know, that's the justice system. And they were joking with her about the OJ trial, but she was like, you know, but that's part of it. She was like, you know, we hope that juries get it right, and that's our job as attorneys, to bring them the evidence so that they can get it right. And she was like, but sometimes they don't. She goes, but I have to say that, you know, more times than not, that juries do get it right. And it seems to me that that pretty much is the case, you know. I'd be interested to know, like, some of the things I kept on thinking as I was, like, reading the book were what was going through the minds of the juries. You know, like, if you, I mean, it was circumstantial evidence. Like, do I think that Casey Anthony was like a mom that her priority was not her daughter and she was out partying and she had no idea where she didn't report her daughter missing for 31 days? Yes, I think all of that. But do I think that that alone like, if I was a juror, if I was thinking this way, hell yes, I think she had something to do with it, watching it and reading it, you know, as a bystander that reads true crime. But if I was a juror, would that be enough for me to say beyond a shadow of a doubt, I can say that she killed her daughter? I don't know. I don't know, you know, like, the thing that they said in the book that was interesting to me was that, because, you know, the death penalty was on the line too. That was the thing that bothered me about the book, was that discussion happened a lot. But, okay, so one of the jurors that was interviewed apparently said, this was at the end of the book, said that they never told them how Kaylee was killed. Like, if they had said how Kaylee was killed, then yes. You know, like, but, okay, if they had said that Kaylee had been killed by strangulation or by suffocation, how would that have been any different? Hell, the trunk smelled of chloroform. You know, first of all, did anybody wonder if it was strange why there was so much trash in the trunk of this car? And finally, when I was watching something, I think it was the Chris Hansen video, I don't know what it was, maybe it was, I don't know. They showed a picture of the trunk of this car. When was it? I think it was the Chris Hansen thing. Have you guys seen the trunk of this car? It was literally like opened bags of trash. It was disgusting. Like, who is driving around with open bags of trash like that? Unless you're trying to cover up the smell of something. Like, and that's what I thought. And I was like, why did that never come up in the court case? You know, that could she have been driving around with this trash? Why was the trash in the, whose trash was it? Was it mom and dad's and they just happened to put it in there to take to the dumpster and never did? I mean, why wouldn't they just drop it off at the end of the driveway if that's where the trash came? Why was the trash in the trunk of the car? It made no sense. And it was like trash from somebody's kitchen. It wasn't like trash that you just like had a bag of trash. As they said something about an Oscar Mayer wrapper. It wasn't just like it was a bag of trash that you'd like keep in your car and throw stuff. I mean, it was... Anyway. She's a private investigator now, and she wants to have more kids. And the dad said in the interview, they asked him what he thought about her being like on a reality show, because apparently there's been talks of that or whatever, and he said that he would file a civil lawsuit against her if that happened. But, and if she tried to make money off of her story. You know, there's the Son of Sam law. Well, first of all, is it not so weird that all of this stuff... Somebody commented about this in the comment section, too. I thought it was interesting, because I was thinking the same thing. All these things always happen in Florida. Florida and California literally breed this kind of serial killer, kind of like cases like this. I mean, she's not a serial killer. What is it called? Filicide? I looked it up last night, because they talked about it in the book. Filicide. This is called maternal filicide, I guess, when you kill your child. You know, it did remind me of this Oprah that I had seen years and years and years ago, because it was one of Oprah's aha moments. Oprah interviewed these women. You can see this on YouTube. She interviewed these women that had murdered their kids. One of them murdered her son and then went to prison, got out of prison, had another child, and murdered him too. And what's interesting as a point of reference for watching that show and then reading about Casey Anthony, like, I think it's hard for us to wrap our heads around that, like, to somebody that a child would get in the way of their life, like, because that was kind of like their MO, right? Like, she didn't want this child around anymore because she was like, she wanted to go out to this fusion nightclub and all this kind of, it was kind of getting in the way of her life, right? Well, she had Kaylee at 18, so she didn't get to really, you know, she got pregnant at 18, so she didn't get to really live that part of her life. And I'm sure is like how she probably saw it to some degree, because she was going out to nightclubs left and right. And she was dating club promoters and club owners and things like that, which that was interesting too. But, you know, it reminded me of this thing on Oprah. Like, these women were literally just like emotionless. And they weren't like emotionless, like, they were like, this one woman was like bawling as she told her story, and Oprah said to her, like, do you ever, like, hate yourself? And she started bawling, and she was like, every day. But the way that these women killed their children was, that one specifically, she was trying to feed her child, and he wouldn't stop crying, and she picked him up and threw him against the wall. There was another one that wanted to go out, and she put her child, he wouldn't stop crying, and she put him in the freezer and forgot to bring him out. And the third mother on there put him in a suitcase outside the door, and it was like 100-degree weather outside. I mean, these were mothers that their priority was not to be a mother, okay? And it's so sick and so sad. And at the end of it, one of them asked Oprah, I've talked about this on here a bunch, one of them asked Oprah, why don't you hate us? And Oprah said, hate you? No, I don't hate you. And she said, see, that's because that's what you do with your pain, and I do something different with mine. And I almost was like, reading this book, I was like, I almost felt like the prosecutors didn't look really at the whole case. You know, like, I think almost kind of like they didn't really play it up in the case that, like, Kaylee did not fit into Casey's life. She was constantly taking her somewhere. Either her parents had her or she was taking her somewhere. Constantly. She didn't fit into her life. Hell, she was always at her boyfriend's house. He said he had never even, like, seen Kaylee, like, one time that summer when she went swimming or something like that. I mean, she was not part of her life. She was a disturbance to her life. You know? And if they had played that on top of her lying as a motive of, like, where was this child all these times that she was lying, you know? She'd say, I'm going to Universal Studios. Come on, let's go with your little cute backpack and sunglasses. I'm taking her to the nanny's house. That never existed. Where was she? Where was this child? And where was this girl this woman that didn't work for 2 years? I mean, it's baffling to me that nobody got the answers to those questions. Where was she for 2 years that she wasn't working at Universal Studios, and she said that her daughter was at the nanny's? Where was she? That's what is, and can somebody please explain that to me? Did that come out in the court trial and I didn't hear that in the book? And did and the mom was always like, well, there was always just a good answer. What? I don't know. It just is, there's more to this story. There's a lot more to this story. And, you know, and I said that to Mel tonight on the phone, and she was like, yeah, unfortunately, we'll never know. And we won't, you know. That's what I was going to say. That in Florida, I think, well, now it's, I think, federal, but, like, in Florida was where it started. I don't know. I would have to look it up. But the Son of Sam laws, which mean that you cannot financially benefit off of, I think, like if you've killed somebody, you can't, like, write a book and make money off of it. I still wonder how, what's her face? Carrie Rollins, the BTK killer's daughter, how did she make money off her book, or did she just donate all of that? And then also, what's his name? Klebold? I can never remember those kids' names. Probably because I push it to the recesses of my mind. I definitely can never think of, I always want to say, is it Dennis? It's not Dennis Klebold. Dylan Klebold. His mom wrote a book. That's just a story that totally haunts me, Columbine. I mean, like, we're coming up on 2 years of having read that, and I still can, like, do you know their journals and stuff like that, like, have to be released at some point? I wish I had Mel here. She would know when that was. Is it my battery? Why was my battery? I just put a brand new battery in, and not even at an hour of vlogging yet. But they have to, it was a deal that the parents made that the parents of the survivors got to sit in a room and ask them any question they wanted to ask. And the footage, the responses to that, plus the journals, or there's like video footage that Dylan and the other kid, I can never remember what his name is, that they put together, or that they had in planning all of this. They have to release that. And like, it was like 20 years, or no, it could have been 20 years, because we just had 20 years. Hold on a second, I'm gonna change the battery. Okay, I'm back. But they have to release that information, 40 years maybe? I don't know. But it'll be interesting when that comes out to see, like, what... It was this agreement that the parents made. What I think is crap about it is, I think that it would give, like, us a better understanding of how to prevent situations like that happening in the future if we have that information now. You know, if you read the book, Columbine by David Cullen, which a lot of people criticized, I thought it was fantastically done. I thought it was very well done. It's a really long read, but he also did Parkland too, which I want to read. I think that's what it's called. But when you read it, at the end of it, he talks about like the Virginia Tech shooting, and the guy that did the Virginia Tech shooting, like in his manifesto that he wrote, basically like dedicated it to Dylan, and I want to say James, was his name James or something like that, the other guy, the other shooter at Columbine, and he like dedicates like him doing this to, this car is like, it must be like some brand new Mercedes, because it's like the emblem is like glowing. I could like see it coming at me like a mile away. Let's see what this is they got in that lane. It must be like a brand new Mercedes, because I've never seen this kind before. Oh, it's huge. But anyway, yeah, he like said that they inspired him or something. And somebody else said that too. So it's like, I think for us to understand how to prevent it and stop it from happening in the future, like if that information came out, I don't know. The dad, Casey Anthony's dad, said in this Chris Hansen video about her having, or interview about her having kids, because he said something about, you know, she wants to have more kids. What do you think about that? The dad almost kind of came out of his seat for a second. Well, he said in the courtroom when they were like accusing him of stuff that he wanted to come across that seat and come at that defense attorney. But he said that her parents didn't look anything. I was looking at pictures and stuff last night. Her parents didn't look anything like I thought they would. But the dad said she won't have kids. He's like, where's she gonna have kids in the United States? Nobody will let her have kids in the United States. I thought, what? That's weird. Like, if yeah, she'll have. I mean, she said in this one. Apparently, she's done one interview, and she said she didn't give a SHI to it what anybody thought. She'd live her life or something like that. I didn't really understand what the dad was saying. That, like, I mean, do I think that people would absolutely go crazy? Yeah, I think people would, like, it would be surreal, you know? But could she have a child and, I don't know, hire a midwife and nobody would know? Yeah, she could do that too, you know what I mean? Like, but he has no relationship with her. I have to say, like, of all of the things, all of the cases that we've read about since we started a true crime book club, Mel and I, this is definitely one of the cases that, like, really stuck with me. It reminded me a lot of the Chris Watts case. What's it called, one that you kill a whole family? I don't know what that, I can't remember what that's called. I think it was Misha that brought it up in the book club. But, I think because it's almost kind of, like, unfathomable to me. Like, how do you do this? You know what I mean? I can't even wrap my head around it. It's crazy to me to think that she walks free today, knowing whatever she knows, that she's either done or somebody else did or whatever. I will say, like, watching or reading the whole thing, I got a really strong gut feeling that somebody else is involved in this as well. I'm kind of surprised. Has there been more, like, discussion about this, if there was, like, somebody else involved with it? They did say that in the book. They said that something to the effect of that they thought that she had, like, they didn't say an accomplice, but they said, like, help with, like, whatever. But then, like, there was even discussion about her borrowing the shovel, and, like, oh my God, this was the part, like, drove me. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, how do you discuss this in a courtroom and a jury doesn't say she did it? Like, she borrowed a shovel and she basically started digging a hole in the backyard. Then she returned the shovel. They even found evidence of where she was digging the hole. Did anybody ask her, what were you digging a hole for? I mean, nobody even, that line of questioning wasn't even in the deposition or in anything. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, that's like, she was digging a hole. Like, that's a big deal, right? Like, at the time that Kaylee went missing, like, oh my God. I don't know. She either looked up chloroform 84 times or was it 83 times? It doesn't matter. She was digging a hole in the backyard. Like, every product that she, like, that, every piece of item, like the trash bag, the duct tape, and he would say in the book, the guy that wrote the book, which I liked his writing style, I liked him telling the story, but he would say, like, another irony of the case. He kept on saying that because, like, the duct tape that they used to, like, put up flyers or something or on this table was the same duct tape that was used on the bag. No, that's not irony, that's sick, okay? The whole case is sad. The whole case is sick. It's a dead 3-year-old that will never have a life, you know, to prosper into something beautiful and amazing and have family of her own, and it breaks my heart. The whole thing is just, it breaks my heart. And I don't even think it's an imperfect justice. I think it's just imperfect. That's why I was kind of surprised about the title of the book. But anyway. Alright, I've said enough. I'm going to save the rest for book club on Sunday because I get so heated talking about it. I told Alex tonight, I said I could not get this. I think it's honestly why I couldn't fall asleep last night. It was just like in my head, like all these things together. So anyway, then today, I started a new book, which was actually one of them that was in that video by that booktuber Just Angus, where he did this video with his partner, and he had to guess the books based on, like, he was blindfolded. It was kind of a cute concept. I've seen other booktubers do it. But, like, their boyfriends or girlfriends or husbands or wives, like, will describe the book to them, and they can touch it, but they have to guess what book it is. I don't know how they do it. Like, you could describe a cover to me. I don't think I would ever be able to guess the cover of a book. But I will tell you this, our kitchen is quickly being taken over by graphic novels. I have purchased so many graphic novels, you guys. I am, like, flying through them. So one of the books that he showed in there was called How to Pack for the End of the World. I don't know who it's by. But I started that today. It's about this girl that goes to this boarding school, and she's on a scholarship, but there's a lot of rich kids there too, and then she becomes part of this group. It's kind of written kind of corny, honestly. I have a feeling I'll end up really liking it, because I think there's going to be, like, a purpose behind it. It kind of feels like a little bit like that movie Pump Up the Volume with Christian Slater. I don't know why I'm getting those vibes from it, but, like, there's going to be a lesson we're all going to learn from it. But the writing is kind of cheesy, like the dialogue and stuff. And it's very, like, cliched characters. Like, you know, there's well, maybe not all of them, but a few of them are kind of like cliched characters. I'm kind of like, I don't know what I think about all this, but we'll see. It's hard to go from, like, a super factual true crime novel into something fictional like that and be like, oh yeah, like this is like the best book I've ever, you know what I mean? I probably should have gone into something that was more like literary fiction, which of course I had downloaded quite a few things. I honestly, this is gonna sound so bad, but I needed to take a break from the Misfortune series. Like, I only have 2 books left, and part of it is, one, I don't want to finish the series right now, because then I'm gonna have to wait till she releases her next book. And then I'm like, now I'm just gonna have to like wait for each book to be released to like still be in that world, where at this point I've been able to pick up a book whenever I wanted and stay in that world of Sinful Louisiana, number 1. Number 2, I found myself in the last book. I mean, it was good. The mystery was good. They're getting kind of like longer. Like each book is longer. Like when I first started listening to them, they were like 7.5 hours, and now they're like 9 hours long. But I found myself kind of just like drifting off and having to rewind it. And I was like, well, should I have pizza tonight for dinner? Like, I'm kind of like at this point, like I've heard so many of them that I'm just kind of like, I love them. They're fantastic. They're all 5 out of 5 stars for me. But I think maybe I need to take a break for like a week or 2 on them. Because I really want to appreciate the last 2, which are longer ones anyway. So I bought a bunch of standalones on Audible, and I have those. And then I'm reading a standalone at home called Been Here All This Time. And then I'm reading Anne Frank's Diary, the graphic novel. So those are my 2 books that I'm reading at home, and then this book that I'm reading on Audible. I wanted to do a book for my Peterisms channel, but like I haven't really found one that I wanted to do. I don't know if I've ever seen that creepy little Zionsville cemetery there before. But I don't know what I wanted to. I thought I wanted to do this Melody Beatty book, but it's not like The Magic by Rhonda Byrne. It's not like where like each chapter is like a day. It's different than that. I remember actually reading this book. I started it. I don't know how long I got. It's like you do all these, it like tells you at the beginning you do all these things for 40 days, and you kind of like check. It's like week 1, week 2, week 3. It's a little bit more intense than the other one. That's probably why I don't want to do it. If I'm being completely honest, I think it's a lot more intense. But anyway, I mean, if I really truly want the gratitude, you know, I was thinking about what my sponsor always says to me, because she always says something to the effect of like, we don't get to decide the conditions of our sobriety, and basically she's like, you know, the amount of work that you put into your sobriety is going to be the amount of work that you get back. What? Of course it's out of focus. Come on, focus. I'm gonna have to stop it. Hold on. When it gets to that point, it just will not correct itself. But anyway, she's always like, you know, the amount of work that you put into your sobriety is equal to the amount of work, to the amount of like what you're gonna get out of your sobriety, you know? And I think that's true with anything in life, you know? So the harder that I work on gratitude, it was funny because my mother-in-law actually said something to me about it, because I bought her The Magic. Well, you guys know that. I bought her The Magic by Rhonda Byrne, the Magic book, and she really, really liked it. I think I don't know if she's finished it yet or not. I'm sure she probably has by now. But anyway, so she was like, are you going to do the Melody Beatty book? And I was like, and I told her, I said, I'll order you one off of Amazon if you want it. I'll just get it for you. And, I don't even remember what she said, but anyway, she stopped by one night to bring us gifts from Fufu and his girlfriend Jessie. They got me like this really cool, like crossover bag, like for a festival or something. It's really cool. What was I gonna say? Oh, but she was asking me about the Melody Beatty book, and she's like, are you going to do that book? Like, because I would like to do that book too. And she's like, I've already been thinking about it. And I was like, I'm not sure that I want to do it. And I started reading that Stephen Levine. Well, I didn't read it. I flipped through the Stephen Levine book, and it's so different than what I remember it being. But I think that that is a book that I kind of want to like get into and read. I have some self-help books, motivational books. I don't love the word self-help. I have some inspirational, motivational books that maybe I need to do some of that stuff like on my own and not like through a YouTube channel, if that makes sense. Like, I bought a bunch of these books that are through like a 12-step like literature, and one's on emotional sobriety, and one's on relationships and recovery, and another one's about being gay and out in recovery. There's like 4 of them that I bought, and the 4th one, or maybe the 4th one was having like being like an old timer in sobriety, like having 20 plus years. And like I haven't even opened those really yet. I flipped through them, but I haven't really. And Tanya, no. I think maybe I got 5, or maybe one of them is about spirituality and recovery, because I think one of them is about that too, spirituality and sobriety. But they're just like a collection of just like writings and just things that have been said, and they're all like 12-step approved. So I was thinking about like 12-step program that I'm in, approved. It's called approved literature. And what that means is it's like there's certain things that we read that are like, there's like 5, certain basic texts. They are really salting the roads. I'm wondering if we're, like, there's salt all over the road, if we're really going to be getting some snow or what the deal is here. So like a Melody Beattie book would not be considered approved literature. Nobody would have an issue if you wanted to read a Melody Beattie book, but like in a meeting, we wouldn't discuss a Melody Beattie book. Like I wouldn't sit in a meeting and say, well, I was reading Melody Beattie's, Codependent No More. I mean, people would look at me and be like, no, we don't do that. So anyway, but this is like approved. And there's like a whole list of like what's approved and what's not approved. Anyway, I mean, it's not like a long list, but it's basically things that come from inside the program. Okay. So anyway, but I've been meaning to want to pick those up. And then the Stephen Levine book, A Year to Live, I really want to read that too. And it's supposed to teach you, like, if you only have 1 year left to live, like, this is how to live your life. And what's interesting about that is that when I picked it up originally, I didn't even know how sick my mom was. I look back at this and I think this is so weird. You're gonna talk about irony, like, maybe not the greatest use of it, but I can remember taking her to the hospital. She had to have all these tests done. And I sat down in the waiting area, and there was like this person playing piano. And this was like at the hospital that my dad worked at forever. And it was like this, the newest part of the hospital is beautiful. It's like all glass. And so I was just like sitting there with a cup of coffee, and I had brought my mom for these tests, and she was going to be a while. And I remember they were playing that song on the, I had like this moment that was like this weird spiritual moment where I was like, you need to prepare yourself. And I was reading the book, the Stephen Levine book, A Year to Live. I don't know what had made me pick it up. I had seen it somewhere. I used to buy a lot of motivational self-help books. I picked it up, and I was listening to the piano, and they were playing, why can't I think of that song? Anyway, it's like a classical piece. Why can't I think of what it's called? It's driving me crazy. It's super famous. Like if I said it, you guys would know it. It's not like classical like Bach. It's more like pop classical. Why can't I think of what it's called? But it's just kind of this like ethereal song. And I was sitting there and I was kind of like, ethereal, airy song. And I was like, I'm gonna pull in here. I wanna see what this song is called. Because this is gonna drive me crazy. I know I have it on my my iTunes and my phone. It's like right there. Don't you hate when that's like stuff is like right on the tip of your tongues? Claire de Lune. It was Claire de Lune. Oh, just honked to my horn. classical. Would we consider that classical? So anyway, I was sitting there and I just had this moment, and it was like a heavenly moment. It was weird, like heavenly, almost kind of like out of this world. And I had this moment like, prepare yourself. And I was like, it looks like we've had snow over here, but we haven't. I'm gonna pull in and look at the weather. I want to see if we're supposed to have any weather. If we're supposed to have any weather, if we're supposed to have any snow. Daily, today, 39 for high. Showers early, then cloudy in the afternoon. A few flurries or snow showers possible. Yeah, we're not getting any snow. Tomorrow, cloudy with showers developing during the afternoon. Sunday, cloudy skies with a few snow showers later. We're not going to have any heavy snow this year. Scattered snow flurries and snow showers before noon, becoming partly cloudy late. This is the 27th. I've got to remember, I've got a vet appointment. Did I even talk about that on here? I don't know if I did. But that I took Tucker to the vet for his, like, heart murmur thing. Anyway, that was the situation with my mom. So I don't know what. I want to read something. I need to pick out. I really wanted to pick like one motivational or inspirational book a year to read. And I need to get on that because I've got like 3 weeks left. So, and I've got a ton of them at home. And I just need to pick one and stick with it, you know? What was I going to say? But like the recovery books, like, this is stupid because this doesn't matter at all, but like they wouldn't go towards my Goodreads either. I wouldn't list, I guess I could. I looked them up actually to see if they were on there, and I was kind of surprised that they were, but they're not recovery books. Like, I don't know how to explain. It's a collection of like people's stories about emotional sobriety and stuff like that. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But I need to, maybe I'll go to the bookstore tomorrow and see what's there. But anyway, I took Tucker to the vet for his appointment. Was it last week? And my next appointment, I think, is on the 19th. And first of all, these Crocs, you guys, were literally the buy of the century, okay, for winter, because I can just throw them on when I come vlog, and they are so warm and toasty. I love them. So anyway, I took him to the vet. He was so nervous, little guy. And we got there, and they're like, our vet had an emergency, and so they're like, you can like keep him here all day, and she can see him when she gets a chance, or we can reschedule. And I was like, oh no, I'm not making him sit here all day long. Like, we can reschedule. So the earliest they could get me in was the 19th. So I've taken back in on the 19th. I have something else next week too. I can't remember what it is. But anyway, we don't have a whole lot this weekend. Alex has some work stuff on Saturday. And I'll make videos all weekend. And then, yeah, that's about it. So, anyway, it's late, and I'm going to get off here now. I vlogged longer than I thought I would. Oh, my Lord. Do you think a 3-hour vlog should be coming up soon? Should I do a 3-hour vlog? 3-hour tour. Can I just tell you what I cannot stand is when people take their trash and they dump it in the middle of the road. It drives me crazy. I think it's so rude and disrespectful. Anyway, if you want a 3-hour vlog, put it in the comment section below. Maybe a 4-hour vlog, can you even imagine? And I'll get right on that for you. I don't know when I'll do that, but anyway, maybe tomorrow, maybe Sunday, maybe no day. Anyway, put it in the comment section below if that's something that you would want. And I'm gonna get off here now. I hope you guys are having an amazing Friday. Thank God it's Friday. And an amazing start to your weekend. Plan something fun to do this weekend. I am gonna be watching the Night Stalker documentary and some Casey Anthony videos to get ready for the book club. The book club is at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday on my YouNow, which is listed below, with Mel and I. We are co-hosting that. And so make sure that you come over there and say hi to us. And I'm going to also be watching the Night Stalker documentary. I actually heard it was really, really good. People are calling it like the new Tiger King kind of thing. So anyway. Be kind to one another and always lead with, like it says in the 4 agreements, always lead with love. And if nobody else has told you this today, I love you. And I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. It's going out of focus again. Bye. Love ya! I had to come back one more time and say, one more, I love you. I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Don't you love it when I do that? I know you do. Bye. Love ya. Bye. Love ya.